right now.
Kings Island shuts down the drop zone after a girl loses her legs on a similar ride in Kentucky. Who's looking out for your safety? I'm Mary Costello. I'll have that story coming up.
Plus, Ohio's Attorney General Mark Dan loses his cool when he sees a newspaper reporter who did a story about his stepdaughter's government job. And the mother of the missing pregnant woman in Canton says she knows who the suspect is in her daughter's disappearance.
Welcome to a new era of news leadership. This is Fox 45, Dayton's news source at 10.
Good evening, I'm Don Hammond. A 13-year-old girl remains hospitalized in Louisville, Kentucky tonight after her lower legs were severed just above the ankle by an amusement park ride Thursday afternoon. Today, investigators climbed the track of the Superman Tower of Power at Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom to get a closer look. The park remained open, but across the country, similar rides were shut down. Just over a year ago, a major accident on a roller coaster at Kings Island injured dozens of people and shut down the ride for the season. Today, the park voluntarily closed the drop zone to re-inspect it. But as Fox 45's Mary Costello explains in our top story, the state says your safety is in your own hands.
I seen the car go up, then like the cable broke. I heard it swung and I heard a lot of people screaming.
This witness says he saw the cables that take the car to the top of the tower just snap. The cables apparently lashed at a young girl, severing both her legs above the ankles. And it prompted several amusement parks around the country to shut down rides like the drop zone at Kings Island. No one from the park would comment on camera today, but its parent company released this statement saying safety is our #1 priority. As a precautionary measure, we have temporarily closed our similar rides for re-inspection. But if they didn't, chances are no one else would. There's no federal oversight, and in Ohio, the Department of Agriculture oversees carnival and amusement park rides.
You're supposed to go there to have a good time, not to fear for your children's lives.
Marilyn Hanson and her kids live in Mason, and they have a season pass to Kings Island. Earlier this month, the Department of Agriculture issued safety tips that say parents play the biggest role in their kids' safety, saying parents like Marilyn Hanson should watch the ride in motion and the ride operator before allowing their kids to go on it.
Your kids are getting on these rides, you have the feeling that, okay, it should be safe because you feel like you have the government behind you, you feel like the Department of Agriculture is taking care of these things, and you trust them.
But a spokesman for Kings Island says they're the ones we need to trust. It's their mechanics and engineers who will re-inspect drop zone, reopen it, and maintain it. In Mason, Mary Costello, Dayton's news source.
Mary adds a spokesman for Kings Island says additionally 4.5 million people have ridden the drop zone since it opened back in 1999. It's inspected closely every morning by a mechanic or engineer, and the park hopes to reopen the ride in the next few days. People in a Warren County neighborhood tonight are hoping a little girl pulls through from a frightening accident. The 3-year-old fell from a second-story window at this home on Christina Court in the town of Carlisle. Paramedics say the girl was conscious and crying.
I know how fast they can get away from you, but those kids play outside all day long, all the time. And I mean, I'm just sure it was a freak accident, but I feel horrible for them.
The girl is now being treated at Children's Medical Center in Dayton. Her condition is not known right now. A Miami Valley diving instructor died this morning after a diving accident. This happened at the Gilboa Quarry near Toledo, Ohio. 60-year-old Van Losh of West Alexandria, west of Dayton, was taken by life flight to St. Rita's Medical Center in Lima, where he was pronounced dead. It's the third death at the quarry in as many months. In April, 2 Dayton area men were killed when some of that equipment began icing up in the cold waters there as well. A mass search effort for a missing Ohio mother, Jessie Davis, continued today with dozens of people combing wooded areas and open fields near her Canton home. While searchers were looking for clues to Jessie's disappearance, new information surfaced today about the newborn girl found on a doorstep just miles away from Jessie's Canton home. Jessie Davis, nearly 9 months pregnant, has been missing now for at least a week. Davis is due to give birth to her second child on July 3rd. The latest out of the investigation today is that an abandoned newborn girl found earlier this week 45 miles away is not Jessie's child. This week, police did search the home of Bobby Cutts, a Canton, Ohio policeman married to another woman who's the father of Jessie's 2-year-old son. Cutts has been questioned repeatedly, but investigators are not calling him a suspect.
At this point, he's an associate, Jesse Davis, and we're still looking at all of her associates.
Hundreds of volunteers are helping police and the FBI searching the Canton, Ohio area. Search teams are smaller than they were Thursday. The goal of each team is to cover about 12 square miles today. They're going through backyards, vacant fields, looking for any trace of Jesse. Little Blake is the last person known to have seen Jesse. He was found home alone last Friday and said, "Mommy was crying. Mommy broke the table. Mommy's in the rug." Davis's mother, Patricia Porter, says she considers Butts a suspect in this case. Her attorney later said those comments were based on emotions and not on evidence. Cutts maintains he had nothing to do with Jesse's disappearance. On the labor front right now, struggling auto parts maker Delphi Corporation has reached a tentative wage-cutting agreement with its largest union. United Auto Workers officials say the deal would cut hourly wages from $27 to somewhere between $14 to $19. The agreement still needs to be voted on by UAW members, though. If approved, it could set the pattern for future pay in the U.S. automotive parts industry. And if you're headed out this weekend, buckle up and find a designated driver. If you're inclined to do so, the Montgomery County Combined Agency DUI Task Force is operating a sobriety checkpoint this evening. Now, you're looking at a live picture of at least one checkpoint at the intersection of Hoover and Gettysburg in Dayton. The checkpoint operates from 10 tonight until 2 in the morning. And coming up at 10:30, we'll have more on tonight's checkpoint.
Well, it was nice to pick up just plain old rain this morning. No thunderstorms, but nice steady rain for a few hours. We didn't get a whole bunch, but it has pushed off towards the south and east, and we need to get a couple more days like this to help us out with the drought situation. Highs today, after we did see some of the skies clear, 74 in Springfield, the same in Dayton, 75 in Richmond and Wilmington on the tail end of getting that cloud cover out of here, only at 70 degrees.